Hello students, this is a class for BA Part 2nd and we will be doing a critical summary of scene 1st to 3rd of Act 5 in Macbeth, a play by William Shakespeare. We have already done the summary of the play Macbeth up to Act 4. Okay, so in this scene, Act 5, Scene 1, we now go back to Scotland and learn that Lady Macbeth is feeling mentally so disturbed as to have been walking in her sleep during the night. A waiting gentlewoman and a doctor watched Lady Macbeth in her sleepwalking, and they themselves are unobserved. Nobody sees them. Lady Macbeth, in the course of her sleepwalking, keeps talking to herself, and all her talk is about the murder of King Duncan and the murder of Banquo and the murder of Lady Macduff. She also refers to the knocking that was heard at the gate after Duncan's murder. The doctor's comment on this behavior of Lady Macbeth is, unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. And in this manner, we come to know that whatever Lady Macbeth and Macbeth has done has transpired, it has been revealed at least to the doctor and this lady. The doctor advises the waiting gentlewoman to look after Lady Macbeth and to take every possible precaution to prevent Lady Macbeth from inflicting some personal injury upon herself. The doctor feels that Lady Macbeth may commit suicide, she may wound herself by daggers because her imagination is uncontrolled now, and she is in her trance like situation, she is in her unconscious state of mind where the active mind is not governed actually. So, this scene shows that Lady Macbeth is, after all, a woman with all the weakness of a woman. The murders have begun to weigh heavily upon her, and she is not able to rest even in her sleep. Her conscience has become a source of torment to her, and she is afraid of darkness now. The woman who had said that a little water will clear all her and her husband's blood from their hands, now she says, what? Will these hands be never cleaned? And a very interesting comment, which is very popular, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. She also says in the course of her sleepwalking scene that nobody could have imagined that the old man Duncan had so much blood in him. In short, this scene shows the mental collapse of Lady Macbeth and demonstrates that evil has in it the seeds of self destruction. Now we enter into scene 2nd of Act 5. Some of the Scottish noblemen, namely Menteith, Caithness, Angus, and Lennox, who have decided to support the English invading forces led by Malcolm, the prince, are talking among themselves. They gather together and they have decided that they will be by the side of English king and their Prince Malcolm. Prince Malcolm, you all know, is the son of murdered King Duncan. Caithness informs the others that Macbeth has greatly strengthened the fort at Dunsinane. According to Caithness, there is a rumor that Macbeth has become almost immortal. and mad, and he is in a state of uncontrollable anger. Anger says that Macbeth's secret murders are now revealing and they are haunting themselves, and he feels his kingship hang loose upon him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief. And this dialogue tells us that actually Macbeth feels himself very weak in the growing circumstances. Katniss says that they must continue their march in order to offer their support to Malcolm, who is coming to liberate Scotland from Macbeth. This is a purely informative scene only, with nothing dramatic about it. In fact, it is rather a tame scene. It serves only to show that most of the Scottish noblemen have left Macbeth, and they nurse a grudge against him. They and their soldiers are now on their way to Birnam Forest, where they propose to join the English forces led by Malcolm. We also learn that old Siward is one of the generals assisting Malcolm in his command of the English army. Siward's son is also coming as a soldier to fight on Malcolm's behalf, with many other young men from England. The scene also contains several hints of the impending doom that awaits Macbeth. For example, we are told that Macbeth's troops now obey Macbeth under compulsion only. They do not feel any loyalty to him. And now we enter into scene third of Act 5. Macbeth is shown in this scene. He is in his fort at Dunsinane. He is feeling confident because of the prophecies that none born of woman can do him any harm, and that he cannot be defeated till Birnam Wood moves to Dunsinane. However, when a servant brings the news that 10,000 English soldiers have been sighted marching towards Dunsinane, Macbeth loses his temper and severely rebukes the servant as a coward. In spite of the feeling of confidence which Macbeth is having at this particular moment, he is feeling uneasy at heart and says to Satan that the present crisis will either strengthen his position forever or it will enthrone him. We also find that Macbeth is now in a mood of disillusionment. He compares himself to the yellow leaf of autumn and deplores the fact that the unusual rewards of old days are not for him. He will never enjoy honor, love, obedience, and troops of friends. And now a doctor brings the news that Lady Macbeth's condition is deteriorating and that she is troubled by thick coming fancies. That is to say, she is hallucinated by the images or her imagination. And because of these hallucinations, because of these imaginations of her mind, she is unable to rest. Macbeth urges a doctor to cure her of these morbid fancies and to cleanse her heart of the dangerous matter which weighs upon it. But the doctor says that in such a case, the patient must help herself. First, Macbeth feels irritated by the doctor's reply and gets ready for the approaching battle, though he is also feeling sick at heart. This scene is also devoid of any dramatic quality. There is nothing exciting in it. However, it serves to reveal the state of mind of Macbeth at this particular juncture of time. There is a curious mixture of self-confidence as well as despair in the mind of Macbeth. His confidence is being sustained by the assurance given to him by the witches whom he saw in the forest. But otherwise, he is feeling very uneasy, restless, and you can say not very confident, not very assured of himself. He is not very sure of his position now. The speech in which he compares himself to the yellow leaf is significant from this point of view. Another change that has come upon him is that he speaks about Lady Macbeth in a somewhat impersonal manner. He asks her doctor to cure her of her trouble, but we can see that there is no deep feeling or sentiment left in his heart for her. What troubles him more is the approach of English army, and in this way we can see that once you walk on the path of crime, you become insensitive even to your own relations, even to your wife, who was so committed that she did not think of her own well-being. She was totally devoted, she was totally committed to Macbeth, and it was she who prepared Macbeth to fulfill his ambition even on the cost of killing his own king. That's all for today. We will continue the next scenes in my next lecture. Thank you very much.